And the phenomena, of black culture is that we are just seeing this beast-like behavior in the black psyche. Killing babies, shooting people 15, 16 times, cutting folks' throat, then shooting them, 30, 40, 50 years ago, you didn't hear that about black folks. This energy is tapping on a deeper level of the dark side of the psyche. And those who yield to it have no control. It's in all of us. The beast that was, the beast that is and was and yet is not, is the subconscious of all of us that attaches itself to the ego. There is no reality in nature for each of our egos. We build these over a period of years, and we take on this performance of this ego.
All right, so before we get started diving into this thing, I gotta pour libations to Nipsey Hussle. This is the water that has been nourishing me all day. And like I said in a previous video, my fast was initially to ignite my spiritual business, to ignite my purpose, to take it to a whole nother level so that I'm having the influence and the power in people's lives like I know that I deserve, exactly how Nipsey Hussle did. So this is all in alignment. So before I do that, I'm going to pour libations. I'm pouring libations into a plant that I planted myself. It's actually parsley. And I planted this in the spirit of releasing. So to Nipsey Hussle, Ashe. To the Osiris energy, Ashe. All right, and then some for myself. All right, so let's get into this. I actually had to write all of this down because the channels were coming so strong and I don't want to miss anything. All right, so the first thing, how does the video that I just played, right, how does this relate to Nipsey? How does this relate to Nipsey's transition? I'm so glad to be able to come back and do this because once things kind of settle down, then you're able to start really receiving the information, or I was able to start receiving the information that I needed to receive, that I had to share with you to continue fulfilling my life's purpose and to talk about Nip's purpose that he has fulfilled and the work that he is continuously doing on the higher realms. So the emotions and trauma that we experience are locked into our subconscious mind. And if not dealt with, if we don't come face to face with them, they manifest. Okay. First we have to understand, when we see and experience trauma, the strong emotions associated with that experience create an entity. It creates an alternate universe. It creates an alternate realm, an alternate dimension, right? The strong emotions that we feel, let's be clear, the strong low vibration emotions that we feel create its own realm, its own dimension, right? Bobby Hemmett talked about this in a video where he said, you have to heal your emotional trauma. And he gave the example of one of his ex-girlfriends trying to commit suicide. And when she did that, she went to a realm full of black women crying. But all of these black women are still alive and walking around on earth today, or at that time when he created it. So that realm that all of those women were crying on is the realm we create whenever we experience trauma and we don't properly release it. How does this apply to Nipsey Hussle in his transition, right? This applies because Nipsey created a manifesto, right? He did everything that he was supposed to do. He completed his mission. These are the channels that I'm receiving, right? He completed his mission. He did what he's supposed to do. In everything that he created, he did it, he experienced it. And that is in his life, in his purpose, and in his transition. Okay? So, I'm going to play a clip from his song right here.
Gonna take you back then, 32 shots in my Mac 10 with a dream minus the means. My early teens was fucking tragic, and deep inside my mind is buried crimes you can't imagine that I wrestle with at night. Demons I fight, I can't get past it. So
his tragic experiences in his childhood, he cannot let go of. He's been fighting these demons and he just cannot face it, right? So that's his shadow side. This is the shadow. We've talked about this before. Your shadow, we have to go at them. We have to understand, okay, what they are trying to teach us. We have to use them. We have to use them or they'll wreak havoc in our lives. That's facts, okay? So the guy who even created, whoever committed this heinous crime, like C. Freeman L. said, his shadow self, his dark side got attached to his ego. It got attached to his ego, right? And because Nipsey said whatever he said to him, his ego could not handle it, and his dark side had risen up. Okay? But again, this is a manifesto. How do we know this? This is the next part of Nipsey's song.
so if it's meant, then it's gonna be. People love it cause they know that this the real me. The cops hate it, so they hope my homies kill me. But I ain't want the fame, I just wanted y'all to feel me.
Already accepted his fate, right? And that's important. That's important because we all know how and when we are going to make the transition, but we are afraid of actually getting into it, right? We all have our shadows. We all have these traumatic experiences that instead of us actually dealing with them and looking at them face to face, we store them away. We'd rather not think about it. What made Nipsey Hussle so great? What makes Nipsey Hussle so great is that he was able to verbally say what those fears are. Now, again, this is a manifesto. So the words that we allow to come out of our mouths, if we say them enough, believing them, they are created. Believing them enough, they manifest in our reality. Now, this is okay in Nipsey's situation because he's completed his purpose. The power, the influence, the things that he's created has changed lives already. And now in his transition, we are all rising up and gaining more knowledge, more wisdom, more information. Hence me doing this video right now. Hence the video my love did and dropped this morning, right? Not only that, this is day 3 of our fast. Nipsey Hussle, 33 years old. All right. So it's all spiritually connected. It all corresponds, right? Before Nipsey Hussle, everybody was talking about the movie Us. What happened in Us? Us Decoded, Us Decoded, Us Decoded. And quickly, his transition overshadowed that, but it still brings light. There's still correspondence in that movie and Nipsey Hussle's transition. And it is dealing with your shadow self. Period. You heard it in the songs. Nipsey Hussle could not let go of the tragic experiences he had in his teenage years. Right? And so when that happens, we are forced to face those same things over and over and over again. This is beautiful, and I'm so grateful to Nipsey for sending me this information because I had to tell it to you and I had to know it for myself. And with Nipsey being the Osirian energy, being the Osiris energy, first of all, we already know in the mythology, Osiris gets killed. We know that, chopped up into pieces. Isis is left here by herself, okay? Heru is supposed to rise up for his father. This is the father right here. This is the father right here. This is the Osiris energy, which is also corresponding to the subconscious mind. Like C. Freeman L. said in the video, these experiences, this shadow side, this dark side is lodged into our subconscious mind. And we have to take every opportunity to pull those things up, to have those things be revealed to us so that we can heal, so that we can release, so that we can use them to our benefit and not to our detriment. So because he is the Osiris energy, which he put on himself in his picture with Lauren London, Isis and Osiris, Osiris has to make the transition in order for Heru to rise up and stand up for his father. So this is already written. This is already written. And why I'm saying so it is written, shout out to Mook. That sigil, that work yesterday was beautiful, and I'm so glad that you put that out and I was able to participate. Thank you so much for that work. But as him being Osiris, the underworld, subconscious, he had to go in this manner, and I had to make this video to shed light on our dark side, to shed light on our subconscious, to shed light on the fact that if we don't reprogram our subconscious mind, then the things that we have stored away in there will manifest. And so this work is so important. So how did I receive the channels from Nipsey that shadow work is a must? Right? How did I receive this channel? The day after Nipsey made the transition was my first day on the fast. And went to sleep that night fine, had a dream. And you know spirit communicates with us in dreams. And my entire dream was of my shadow realm. So I'm seeing all of my own fears. Like it wasn't just one, it was like 2 or 3 things that came up in the dream. And I wasn't so emotionally attached to it, but I just knew where I was at. I knew I was in my alternate lower vibration universe, right? On my alternate lower vibration realm, dimension, right? I knew I was there. Okay. Everything was like reddish. I just knew I was there. And the fear that presented itself, and I'll be vulnerable right now and say a part of this, but a fear that presented itself was me being abused. All right. And not only me being abused, but my children being abused. Right. That's a fear that I have and that I'm working on. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this moment right now. Right. So I had that dream. I woke up. I talked to my love Dreamwise about it. Go watch his video. It's spectacular on this Nipsey Hussle energy. So I wake up and I talk to him about it because that's what we do. And he says, sounds like it's some root chakra stuff. Okay. Yes. Root chakra stuff, right? So that's why you see the red candle here. That's why you see my red shirt. It goes hand in hand with Nipsey being a Crip and creating that union between the bloods. All same thing. That's why I got on a red shirt. Spirituality is all interconnected. Nothing is separated. This is the law of polarity. While I'm thinking about the law of polarity in this situation, when we have traumatic experiences and we label them as bad or as good, we set ourselves up to create this existence, right? So our traumatic experiences, we had them. Nipsey had his traumatic experiences, right? Things that he's seen, things that he's done, right? That he perceives to be bad, right? That he perceives to be evil, that he perceives to be just work on his lower vibration emotions, as we all have, right? And when we do that, we're on the pole of negativity, of evil, of things like that. Like I just said, this experience right now, Nipsey Hussle making the transition, is all in alignment with us rising up in our consciousness. Because now it charges us to think we have to understand the laws of the universe. And in this situation right now, I am able to be indifferent to Nipsey Hussle's transition. Yes, I don't like it. I don't like the way that it happened. It hurt. It did hurt. But now I'm able to feel his power. You know what I'm saying? Now I am able to receive this information. Good, right? And so you always have to be able to see the good in all so-called bad experiences, right? Okay? There's 2 sides to every coin. All right? So woke up, gotta shout out Brother Panic, right? Gotta shout out Brother Panic. Woke up that morning, talked to Dream about it. He said the root chakra. I was like, okay, Spirit, what do I need to know right now in this situation? Right now, what am I supposed to do with this information? Right? Wasn't even thinking about Nipsey Hussle at the time. And so I opened up Panic's book, went to the root chakra, and just started reading. Next thing you know, my finger just starts tapping on some words. Okay, that's where the channel comes through, and that's when Spirit comes to. We already know that some of us receive by all the audiences. Some of us is clairvoyant or clairsentience. All of these different ways that we receive spiritual channels, right? Anyways, my finger just starts tapping on some words on the book, right? And the thing where my finger was at was trust self and others. Root chakra. Trust self and others. That was in the morning. Finger just started tapping. I was not consciously doing this like I'm doing it right now. It just started happening on some spiritual. You need to see this specific right here. Okay? And it was trust self and others. So I said, oh, this shadow stuff that I have going on, if I can learn to fully invest and trust in myself and trust in my spirit and trust in who and what I am, I don't have to worry about the manifestation of these things. How does this correspond to Nipsey Hussle? Well, supposedly, allegedly, from the conversation he had with the guy who murdered him, it was, you a snitch, get away from here. So if we're communicating with a snitch, that means you lack trust, they cannot be around you. Okay? Correspondence, channeling. Right? Trust self and others. It just keeps on going, right? So then I'm like, all right, let me look at Pretty Boss TV. She's came back. I want to support. I want to hear what she's talking about. She pulls a card. And it is Archangel Michael, again, root chakra. Or was it Archangel Michael, root chakra. Okay, so I'm like, okay, so again, a push towards the root chakra, a resurfacing of root chakra is the work that we need to be focusing on as a collective. That was Nipsey's work, because Nipsey created stability, security, safety in all of his businesses. That's security. His kids, Lauren London, they're taken care of, right? That's stability, they're taken care of, right? And then the last thing is safety. And that's something that he probably had to deal with feeling safe, feeling that he can trust himself to always be in the right place, and that he can trust the other people that are around him. Okay? All of us need to be really, really working on this. Really, really trusting ourselves more and trusting others. All right? So, how do we trust ourselves? How do we actually start to trust ourselves so that we don't have to manifest our greatest, darkest fears, thoughts, trauma, our shadow? How do we do this? Well, one, you got to tap into your intuition. You got to tap into your intuition. We got to meditate more, right? When you receive a spiritual thought, how does that come? That comes in random. It's just out of nowhere. For example, while I was reading Brother Panic's book, while I was reading it, a thought came into my head of a route that I should take to go volunteer. It was not the regular route that I usually take to go, but it randomly just came into my mind. It was a spiritual thought. It was a protected thought. Who knows what my spirit was protecting me from going down that same route that I usually go on, right? But I'm learning right now to trust myself, to trust my spirit, to trust who I am, okay? So I did that. I went the route that my spirit told me to go, and everything worked out fine. Spiritual thought comes randomly, not in alignment with the stream of thoughts that you're having. So when those things come up, you have to trust them, because the more you trust, the more you are able to receive. The more you trust, the more you will always be in the right place at the right time. That's so important. So you have to trust yourself and follow your spiritual guidance. Okay. Shout out to Nicole XO Spiritual Guidance Academy, because that's something that she pushes a lot. Trust your spiritual guidance and how it comes to you, right? And when you receive a message, you go with it, right? You got to trust the spiritual signs and symbols. These numbers that pop up, they're not coincidence. The images that you see, they're not coincidence. The animals that come across your path, they are not coincidence. You have to trust that whatever is being presented to you is being presented to you for a reason. You are God. You and God are one. And you are constantly receiving channels and messages as to what is your next move, right? And as you're learning to trust, you got to ask for confirmations. Send me a confirmation that this is what I'm supposed to do. And so for me, when that random thought came into my mind about what route to take to go volunteer, I got confirmation by typing in the address on my GPS, and boom, it said go an opposite route than what I was supposed to go. Confirmation. All right. Trust your spontaneous feelings and emotions. All right. If a feeling or emotion comes upon you spontaneously, trust it. If it tells you to move, move. If something does not sit right in your gut, in your sacral chakra, move around. All right? Do what you need to do. Do what feels right. All right? This is how we start to trust ourselves. And when we can trust ourselves, then we can start trusting others, because our intuition, our spirit will tell us what to do and what to say to anybody who is in our vicinity. Right? In any situation we're in, our spirit will guide us on what to do, right? But if we don't lack trust in ourselves, right? If we lack trust in our higher selves, in our higher consciousness, in the divine good, in the divine source, if we don't trust that energy, then what we're really saying is that we're giving more energy into that ego part of ourselves. We're trusting more of our logical mind. And when you only go with logic, you end up in situations that are not favorable. You end up manifesting your shadow. Because it makes logical sense, but we're talking about a higher spiritual power. Okay? So to wrap this whole thing up, if we don't come face to face with our past experiences. I came face to face with mine April 1st, first day of my fast. I got to see it. I went down there to that realm. I went there. And everybody needs to go. Everybody needs to see what their childhood experiences has caused them to be afraid of. If you don't go there, if you keep on pushing it away, you keep on pushing it down, it manifests as sickness. The situation presents itself to you, okay? And a whole array of other things. Little small things are small manifestations of it happening. Hence the movie Us. All of those coincidences that kept on happening right up until the tethered people made it to their front door. All right? So when those little coincidences happen, right there in the moment, it's time for you to put your spiritual work to use. So for me, I know without no shadow of a doubt, I'm trusting my spirit. We don't have time. We don't have time to second guess the channels we receive. All right. Peace to the God Nipsey Hussle. Ashe. And let's continue our work. Let's continue our work. Do what you were called to do. Rise in power. Rise in purpose. And go forward with it. Peace.